I guess there are two things I would say. First of all, if you are getting enough rest and you're still feeling zapped, I would definitely just take a moment to find where the source of that fatigue is coming from. It might be that there's a change that needs to happen in your life and how you're living to give yourself a little bit more energy. That's possible. However, I will also say this, and this applies to all of us all the time. There will be days, moments, months, weeks when we've got a lot going on, we're tired, we don't want to practice. It's just, we don't want to do it. It's a little bit like exercise. Maybe there was a time when you didn't exercise regularly and you had to figure out a way to kind of just make it part of your life, where you didn't even question it. You just did it unless you were sick or whatever, you needed a rest or you were injured, but otherwise you would just do it. Spiritual practice kind of needs to take on the same flavor. And the only thing I know that will really help us get there to that place where we're willing to do that, even on the days when we don't want to, is bodhicitta. So that's a Tibetan, a Buddhist expression. It's a Buddhist expression. And what it means is active compassion. It's the desire to help. It's the recognition of the suffering in the world and the feeling that you have to do something. I've had experiences of this at times when I've needed it, sometimes spontaneously. But if you're finding it difficult to get that energy because we have compassion fatigue or we're just exhausted, I'd say two things. One, pray for it. Ask for Tara. To actually have it tattooed on my wrist. That's the Tara seed syllable under, you can see it under the things, and then bodhicitta. And I have it there because I want it to remind me of like what, and it's on my right hand because it's how I move in the world is kind of like the masculine expression. I want it to remind me why I hustle, why I work hard, why I do what I do. It's actually from this place of wanting to help and wanting to bring through this energy. And just think about what motivates that in you. Is it someone who was kind to you when you were just having a shitty day and you thought, I'm going to burst into tears at any moment, and someone was just like nice to you when they didn't have to be? It could be some little thing. They gave you a warm smile or whatever. That simple thing, that's bodhicitta. So this is not about feeling like we have to take the entire world on our shoulders. It's just about recognizing the value of warmth and the value of the fact that you have this capacity to do spiritual practice is an amazing gift of good karma. You want to make sure that you utilize it. So the fact you're asking the question is a really good sign. Having wobbles is normal. Figure out why you're tired. If you're resting and you're still tired, maybe have a look at getting some support from a healer or someone who can just check that you're not, draining your energy unnecessarily in certain ways. But pray for that help with bodhicitta, and also dial back, do what you can do. 5 minutes of just a deep meditation might feel more attainable for you on those days than doing a longer practice. So you can adjust. You can do one of the short Tara mantras even and just do it with all your heart for 30 seconds. And that's a good practice, So we don't have to beat ourselves up with this, but it does become easier as we make it part of our lifestyle. I think those things are all connected. So the more grounded you are, the more you're going to feel that you have some degree of resilience in setting up your energy field. I'm not clear from the question whether this is at home or at work, but I would say that we're all going to encounter this feeling from time to time in different environments of feeling like there's an energy coming in that we're probably not really loving so much. Being grounded is like being at home in your body. And when you're at home in your body, it's like you're at home in your house. So you can see who and what is coming into the house and decide if you want to close a window or open it or stick a crystal hanging in across the door or whatever you need to do. So grounding is really important. Grounding sounds like this mysterious thing sometimes, but it's an act of will and intention. And for anyone, I have really struggled with this over the years, but I've got better and better at it and learned how to do this for myself. And it's really noticing when the flow of energy is just flying out all the time, maybe creative, maybe from trauma, maybe stress, or you just have a very Vata kind of personality or energy tends to go out. So we want to kind of find this way to give you a sense of your own body and your own presence. That can be things like noticing if you're hungry, if you're cold, if you need to drink. It can be giving yourself a little reminder on your phone, stop and breathe. And it might be something that every hour you just stop and you have the intention to just be present and see what's going on around you. So it's bringing yourself back to your body. I'd also think about the fact that you have obviously had exposure to this negativity, and boundaries might be something that you struggle with, as a lot of sensitive people really do. Any kind of therapeutic or healing support to work on your permission to give yourself those boundaries is going to be really useful. And what you may find happens is that as you do this, your desire to change your life circumstances so that you're in more conducive environments to how you want to live will actually become something that you believe that you deserve. You may already feel that, but if you don't, you will start to feel that, and then you'll make changes accordingly, and discover the wonderful power of no. It's a fabulous word, way underrated. And the beautiful thing with Tara, and I would say for you and for anyone that's really kind of feeling like, I wouldn't mind doing some strengthening of boundaries, I would suggest maybe red Tara. So Om Tare Tum Swaha, and you imagine a beautiful red light. You can imagine it at the throat and or at the heart while you're doing it, and imagine that beautiful ruby red light and make it sparkling. Okay, like sparkling wine / rubies, kind of sparkling away. Om Tare Tum Swaha. And what this does, because it's red, it's going to help ground you, connects to the base chakra because it's in the heart and throat. It's going to work with your energy and your mind and help stabilize you somewhat. And red Tara is simultaneously subjugating. So she helps to kind of control and push back against negative energies or things that are not beneficial. And she helps to attract and strengthen the kind of positive energy within. So try not to get into a defensive mindset. It can be really hard when people are pushing your buttons. You can just kind of want to, flail about and whatever, but you don't have to fight against anything. This is about internal mastery of your own energy. How do you want to show up in this situation? And as you gain that confidence, giving yourself permission to do what you can to change the situation. If you're ever feeling unsafe, emotionally unsafe in an environment, then you need to not be in that environment as quickly as possible. Now, there is also this sense of having to be practical about things. So for any reason you're living or working in a situation where it's not ideal, but you can't leave straight away, find sources of support. And this is one source of support that you can work with straight away. So the meditative state and the sleep state are different brain states, but they're pretty close, like theta and delta. So your brain's just probably flicking in and out a couple. And sometimes you can be in deep meditative state and it can feel similar to a sleep state, but you're not actually asleep. It's so the brain's kind of doing something there. I would say there's two ways to deal with this. One, just let it happen. You're tired, you're sleeping. Two, you'll be taking in what you need to. If you want to focus on being more awake, do it step by step. So you're kind of reprogramming the brain to not just go boom straight into, say, delta state, but maybe to hover in theta a little bit and get used to it. One way you can do that is to sit up rather than lie down. You can practice meditating where you're staying a little bit more in kind of towards the what would it be? I guess it'd be more the alpha state. So a little bit more conscious, and you're just kind of there, and you maybe are focusing on the breath, and you're just learning to find the thresholds and play with them. It's a little bit to do with experience. There's also certain facilitators that will chuck you straight into, you'll just feel it. It's something in their voice and their energy. You'll go quite deep. But from what you're saying, it happens across the board. So this is probably more about you finding your thresholds. So a little bit of practice, staying awake, maybe just on your own when you're meditating, just doing 5 minutes and then finding that development of your understanding of your own brain mechanism. It's cool. You're just learning how to work with your body, your instrument, your brain. It's good. Don't worry. It's a journey.